I am making some changes to my cash envelopes and budgeting in general. So if you want to see what and hear about why, stick around to find out. Hello and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin. I am documenting my journey to debt freedom and financial independence. As you can see by the setup, today is going to be a cash stuffing day. And it is actually going to be, for the most part, stuffing my sinking funds. And I know I just had this one last week, and normally I wouldn't have one until next week, but I've made a rather substantial change to my budget and how I go about that. I actually trialed it over the past 2 weeks. I really liked how it worked out, and there's a range of reasons why. So in this video today, I'm going to be stuffing a few of my variable expenses cash envelopes and then all of my different sinking funds. But what I am not going to be doing is having this week or any more, probably for at least the next 3 months, any more individual envelopes or categories for things such as groceries, fuel, transport, etc. And there is a reason for that. Now, I have been budgeting and I have been using cash envelopes and I have been categorizing things for years. And I've always loved it because it has always given me a really good sense of control of where my money is at and how I go about spending that. And I've been really struggling this year with having those individual categories, with tracking the spending within those categories as well. It no longer is something that is enjoyable for me. I loathe it. I really despise it. And I've been thinking on this and talking to quite a few of my friends and colleagues, because if you're new to my channel, I am a psychologist. Yes, you can call me doctor. No, you cannot call me your doctor, but when I talk to my friends, it's essentially like talking to another psychologist as well. And teasing through some of the mental challenges that I'm having with things. And one thing that has changed this year, so if you've watched my debt confession or picked up on different things that I've said throughout my videos, I just passed my 1-year diagnosis anniversary. And that in July of 2020, 1 year ago, just about, I was diagnosed with a terminal illness which has no cure. And I lost control of a lot of different elements of my life at that point. And to give you an idea of how regimented my life is now, everything is scheduled out for me every single step of the day, from the time I go to sleep to the time that I wake up. The times that I eat, what times I take my medication, what I take my medications with, what times I have to weigh myself, what times I have to measure myself, when I have to check my blood pressure, what I eat. I no longer get to choose what I eat. As part of my medical team, I have a nutritionist and a dietitian. They come up with all of my meal plans. I go and I buy the food and I eat them, and I cannot even change the days that I eat the darn food, because everything is balanced so that I hit all of the macronutrients that I need that day. I have no control in those areas, and it's very constrained. And having the additional level of constraint of tracking everything that I am spending and where and every little detail for me mentally was just too much. I need to have some area of my life where I can be a bit looser. Now, am I still going to have a budget for the amount of money that I have to spend on groceries, transport, etc.? Yes. In fact, I have all of that money right here. But what I'm no longer going to do is I'm no longer going to put it into individual envelopes. And if I don't track it, then I don't track it, because I really don't care if I spend it at a grocery store or if I spend it going to Starbucks 100 times, which would be a lot in 2 weeks. But $8 per drink at Starbucks, and that'd use up a good portion of it. But you know what? I don't care. And my husband doesn't care. Neither of us are really all too concerned about it. That's, of all of the different things that I have to keep track of in my life, this is no longer a priority for me. So we've been doing this for the past 2 weeks, and essentially all of this money is just going to go into an envelope. And at the end of the 2 weeks, whatever is left in that envelope is what wasn't spent. Pretty simple, really. So this doesn't mean that I'm not going to track any of our spending. I still have all of my trackers that I use. I'll still be writing things down on them. And by the way, Danny on Adala, thank you for the idea of putting my trackers on a disc, Happy Planner disc, like I have done for my other wallets. Never thought about that. If you're not familiar with Danny on Adala, here is her channel. You can go and check that out. So I'll still kind of track things, but it's going to be very, very loosely. Once the money's gone, it's gone. If there's money left over, then that will go into my bail money. Then I will take the bail money out and go forward. So that is what is going to happen today. And so there won't be a cash stuffing video next week. It's just going to be pretty much, you'll see what I didn't spend and then what my sinking funds are. And it's probably gonna make my budget closeouts a bit more boring, but this is what is most likely going to work for us because I've really liked it for the past 2 weeks of just not caring about exactly where it's going because we've been staying within budget. And if we do go over, it's a little bit either way. And then you go through the hassle of taking out of one envelope and putting it into another, and it's all coming out of different ways. And you get into a bit of a scarcity mindset as well, in that you see that there's an amount in there, and you can sometimes with a scarcity mindset go one of two directions, where you go, okay, I have to save as much of it as possible and hold on to it because what if I don't get any more? Or you can go into a, well, I don't know if I'm going to be getting any more, therefore I have to spend all of it. And I'm not 100% sure which camp I fell into. I just knew for me, it was becoming a detrimental mindset for me and really not good for my overall mental health and my well-being. And those are things that are really important to me and that I really pay attention to. So that is what is going on there. Nothing against having categories, nothing against tracking categories. If it works for you, fantastic. For me right now at this point in my life, I just want to have one area where I care a little bit less because I'm not going to care less about my health and I'm not going to care less about what my medical team has me doing because that is what's keeping me alive. When I first got my diagnosis, the prognosis for me was 3 to 6 months and I've made it a year because I have focused on and done to a T everything they have told me to do. My budget will be okay taking a second seat and being able to tell me what to do for a while. So set that off over to the side. As I mentioned, I did start it off this month, and believe it or not, ironically, it's all just in groceries. We ended up with quite a bit of money left over. So I had $51.50, so $200. And then 3 5s, that's gonna go into my $5 challenge. I have all of my other 5s in my little $5 envelope as well. I haven't made up an envelope yet for my June. For my June $5 challenge. Whoops. Need to get that sorted. But that's going to stay the same. My $5 notes will be wrangled up. God, they're so uncooperative. I really need to quit putting them in those little foldy envelopes, foldy things, but they're so darn cute. But that's where I'm sitting at for $5 for my $5 challenge for the past 2 weeks. As I said, I don't normally count it, but since I don't have an envelope, let's go ahead and take a look and see. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. So $90 going into a yet to be made envelope. Set that off to the side. I do have, so this was the envelope that I started last time. So you can see I have taken all of my envelopes out. The only ones that I'm going to be keeping is bulk groceries, because it's always going to need money going into it. Personal, because, well, health and beauty, that's for me. And sometimes if I decide to go and do my hair, it'll wipe out the entire fund. Spending, because that's where all the money is going to go. So the bail money that I had from the previous 2 weeks, so the money that we had saved, had 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30. So I saved quite a bit more this week than I did the 2 weeks before. We did have some help though over the past 2 weeks because we had the lockdown, so we weren't driving as much in fuel. So I will have $200 in bail money for the next 2 weeks. But honestly, if we go over on all of this, we really shouldn't. We've got enough put away in other areas. So the only other two envelopes in here that I need to use, so bulk groceries. I want to keep this separate because, again, bulk groceries is kind of like getting my hair done. You go into Costco, you think you're going to spend $100 and you'll walk out with $500 worth of stuff. Personal gets $75. And that is all that is going to be used out of that particular cash wallet. It's not really a cash wallet, it's a cash wallet system, but that's what I use. And that allows us to move on to our sinking funds. We have usual suspects, and I have them in the proper order, unlike last time. Car registrations, so 155, and it's so funny. After mentioning last week that people had mentioned having a $100 note shortage, not being able to get them, and I was like, oh, I haven't had that problem here. Guess what my bank was out of this week? $100 notes. So, 155 going into car regos, $20 into car maintenance, and $20 into the vehicle gap. As I said, I'm not messing with my sinking funds too much. I like having my sinking funds categoried out and planned out because for me, I guess maybe there's a psychological difference between spending and saving. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Do you go back and do you ever get into a scarcity mindset even though you have the money and you have it set into your envelopes to where you either really don't want to spend it, so not really hoarding, but kind of like borderline of you have to pry it out of my hands? Or do you ever get into the I have this much, I have to spend what I have in here, or is it just something that I am experiencing? Not saying that you have to be going through it now, but have you gone through it ever? Home maintenance is getting $20. My dog's stupidity fund, $20 going there. I've explained this enough times as well. If you have any questions, if you're new or anything, if you have any questions about what any of my envelopes are in terms of the names on them, just go ahead and ask in the questions below. Subscriptions is going to get $65. So 50, 60, and 5. Rates also gets 65, 50, 65. I've got my cheat sheet off to the side, which is why you sometimes hear me pause when I'm talking, because I can't talk and look at something else at the same time. Multitasking is not always my strong point. And water gets 65. So water and rates being part of our utilities. Irish, she's staying parked up. She's not going anywhere until now, looking for at least another month, even for a day trip. So that takes care of. These are kind of like my high priority, so ones that I always try to give an amount to. So that will bring out my lower priority sinking funds. So I do kind of sort of categorize them by what are the ones that I absolutely need to get money into, and then what are ones that can weight. Anniversary, this is going to be $10 going in there. My birthday, because I am special, I get $20. Gary's birthday, because he's special but not as special as me. Actually, his birthday is further away, and that's the only reason. $10. And then for Peyton, our son, he will be getting $50. And just a little bit more for him. His birthday's in October. That's why we're going a bit faster there to get that $500 mark. And I had somebody ask why we chose the amount of 500 as compared to a lower amount or micro investing. So we do have a few micro investing platforms here in Australia that we could go through, and then it would and then there's no minimum buy-in, but we want to get him set up on a full long-term platform, which we have already done. That's going to be with Perler HQ, or not Perler HQ, just Perler. And that's a platform that's available here in Australia, not available in the US, obviously. Unlike the US, we have fees that are associated every time you make a brokerage purchase. So this is above management fees. And on Perler, it is $9.95. The one that my husband and I use, it's $19.95 for that. And they also have a minimum buy-in. So it's not, again, the same in the US, with a lot of times you can buy in even just purchasing one full share if you're not doing micro investing and fractional. Here, you have to have a minimum purchase amount of $500. So that is why we are going that amount for it. Just some of the differences between platforms in the US and in Australia. Well, there's a lot of differences when it comes to investing in the US and Australia. Franking credits. There's a whole area of confusion for that. Gifts is getting $5. $10 going to Christmas. Easter is going to get $10. Father's Day, again, Father's Day is coming up in September here in Australia as compared to the US, where you guys just had it last month in June, which was really funny. I noticed so many people in June. It was just a below the budget month for June. I hope all of you guys are getting back on track or where you want to be for July. In fact, actually kind of the trend that I've been seeing in July is extra income. So a lot of people having an extra paycheck or extra money coming in from different places. I know with some people there's the weird child tax credit thing that's going on in Australia. Tax time, woohoo. Tax returns are always nice. $10 to Mother's Day, because again, I love myself. Nothing to other holidays today, and nothing to the appraisal. I really should get on that. Only putting $50 to camping, so we are going on a 4-day trip to the beach since our other camping trip event had to be canceled. But the nice thing with this is we get to take our dogs with us. So yay! Our pups, they love the beach, and they're so cute. And Turbo, being the very hyperactive that he is, he just spends all his time in the water, and he's just like do-do-do-do-do-do, and then comes and shakes all of his watery fur, and then he smells like wet dog. But we still love him. $20 going to clothing. Have $100 going to medical. $100. So medical / hospital. Yes, I do have, I would say 90% of all of my medical treatment is covered by either my public insurance or my private insurance. There are some additional elements that I do have to pay for. So for example, because I've always had low iron, that's been exacerbated with my illness as well. So I have to go in for iron infusions. I actually have to go in every 3 months. I usually have to go in for an iron infusion and then also a blood transfusion because I drop into such a low level of anemia. So that is something that I have to pay for out of pocket. That's not covered by either of my insurances. And I've got one of those coming up here the end of June, which is funny. I don't even have to look at when things are scheduled for me because I just know by how I'm feeling. I'm going I've been sleeping a lot and I've really been tired. I'm like, yeah, my iron's low again. And then I look at my calendar and I'm like, oh yeah, that's because I've got an appointment that is coming up for that. Or any of our extras, so chiropractic or massage, acupuncture, all of that. 90% of that is covered, and then we pay the other 10% out of pocket, so that this helps with all of that. So it's not just hospital, but then medical in general. Twibbler. Ooh, I have hit 500 subscribers. So that means I am going to be doing a giveaway. And I'm trying to think of a clever way of going about it. One, so that I don't get all the people that just come and flock to it just to get money because they see giveaway. So giveaway is not going to be in the title of the video, obviously, but it's going to have to be in there. But then also is figuring out a way to be able to get in contact with people so that I can let them know ahead of time that they've won. And so I'm looking at either trying to gather people's Instagram account numbers, but if they don't have an Instagram account, if it's an email account, I do have to do a PayPal transfer. That's the only way that I can do things. Technically, I mean, I do have cash here, US cash even, that I could send back, but that would take time to do. I don't know. We'll sort it out when we get there. But if you want to pre-register for a giveaway, you can send me an email at thetwibbler@gmail.com and just have what your YouTube name is and then your Instagram account, or if you're already on Instagram, just send me a DM over there. Hey, it's me. If you do not have Instagram, then you can use that to let me know what your email account is, and then just a yes or no if you have PayPal. So I figure maybe start collecting some of that information now. And then also, if I ever just want to randomly give somebody money, I already have your information, and then I don't have to tell you and ruin the surprise as well, because it actually can be a little bit difficult to try and get contact information for somebody to be able to surprise them with money and just send it to them. Because if you tell somebody that you want to send them money, they get a bit sus and they're like, oh, no, you don't need to do that. I'm like, I know I don't need to do it. I want to do it. Please allow me to do this for you. Let me make a debt payment for you. Let me buy you, let me buy you a coffee. Let me buy you a manicure. I don't, any of that. Just let me give you my money if I want to, please. But if you want to do that, go ahead, and that email will be in the description box. Again, it's not something that I want to put kind of like publicly, which is also probably, it's later in the video because I only just thought of it. And it will help me to have a little bit more control for people who are in giveaways that I do, or my random acts of kindness. So yeah, either hit me up on Instagram, let me know who you are, or send me an email, because I don't want you posting all of your information. Definitely don't want you posting your information, any private information here. I don't want you posting your emails here because people will try and thieve those. I don't want you posting your PayPal account because people will try and thieve those. I can filter through all of the different spam, junk emails that come through on my end. So there is that. Talked way too much there, but sometimes when that starts going. $10 going to a yet to be determined vacation. Poor Sydney just got their lockdown extended for another 2 weeks. Sydney, we are really, really praying for you. It is no doubt a very tough situation that you are in. And $10 into luxury, and that leaves me with then the bail money that I did not use last week that I can now put into envelopes. And again, I didn't plan it out as I should have. And so many people were like, oh yeah, I would have planned it out. And others are 20% to savings and then 20% to other fun things. And I like budget on a bag because she was like, I'd put it to luxury. I agree with you. So I am actually going to I'll put $50. Yeah, I'll put $50 into luxury. I will once again, we'll put some extra money, another $30 into the Twibbler. That leaves me $50. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna put that in for Peyton. Simply because he's got that birthday coming up and I want to get that one topped up for him. So $50 going in there. I'm gonna have to count that. Actually, I'll count that up real quick, see where we're at. It's like a sneak peek. How much money has we got? Have we? Can't even talk. So we are at 50, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 200, 10, 20. Okay, that's good. Yeah, 220, that's good. That's almost halfway. And we have August, literally counting numbers on my fingers. We have, 2 months, almost 3 months until his birthday. So that's a good amount of time. Fantably do for that. So that takes care of that one. They don't belong there, but that's where I'm putting them because, hey, why not? I do also have my coins. I am not going through counting them all out, but I will dump them out. Okay, and so if you want to make a guess about how much money, I didn't even bother with that, but these are the gold and the silvers. If you want to make a guess about how much there was just in gold and silver coins, go ahead and drop that in the comment box below. Also, if you have any questions as well, you can drop them there. You can DM me on Instagram. If you enjoyed this video and all of my rambling, including why I'm no longer using cash envelopes for my variable expenses and just going with a set amount, do please give this video a thumbs up. It really does help to support my channel and it just gives me warm fuzzies, and that's never a bad thing. If you enjoy following along these types of journeys, I do cash stuffings now, and now I'll be doing them every other week along with my Transfer Tuesdays and then just general documentation of my debt-free journey and financial freedom journey. Do please subscribe and follow along. The more the merrier. We're all in this together, and it's always nice. The more people supporting, the better. And definitely let me know if you are on a journey of your own. I would love to provide you support as well. So, as always, remember to choose kindness, show gratitude, always, always, always keep a positive mindset. I will see you in the next video.